It was a perfect night for Chelsea. Chelsea 4, Southampton 0 in what was a much needed victory. This game came at the right time. Players were starting to become breathed of confidence, and I'm sure this victory will start to build momentum going into the end of the season. So I want to begin this video by saying congratulations on the protest. I believe fans should have a voice. Whether other people agree with that, that's got none of their business. Chelsea fans want to protest. It's up to them whether they do or not, and fans should be allowed to express some feelings. And I'm happy it was a peaceful and positive protest, so congratulations on that. We're not here to speak about that. We're here to speak about the convincing win. And finally, Chelsea have kept a clean sheet, back in the top four, and this result can be a perfect week for Chelsea. Bournemouth and Aston Villa both got beat last night. Nottingham Forest have a tough game against Arsenal at home. Newcastle travelled to Anfield, where they never ever beat Liverpool, especially away at Anfield. City have an away game against Tottenham, and Tottenham are Manchester City's bogey team. So you can make a strong case for those three all losing them fixtures. Now, I know there's a lot of writing on the screen, so you don't have to read it. I will talk through it. And the most important thing about tonight, in my opinion, was the clean sheet. Chelsea have shipped too many goals this season against lower league opposition. We'd ship one when we beat Southampton 5-1 away. We shipped them against Ipswich. Just all those teams that you'd expect to keep a clean sheet against. Chelsea always seem to concede. So that clean sheet will build confidence. This game came at the perfect time. Chelsea's players began to look breathed of confidence. We've seen that against Aston Villa. Once Aston Villa equalised, that gave them the ascendancy in the game, and Chelsea were kind of like, yeah, we'll go again. So this game came at the perfect time. But what I am glad about is Enzo Maresca sticking to his guns, not playing Christopher Nkunku as a number 9, keeping Neto as that number 9. I understand it's not his natural position, but I think he offers a lot more than what Christopher Nkunku do, because with Chelsea's structure and the way they like to play, because if they're not moving the opposition out of their structure, they find it incredibly difficult to break them down. And I don't actually think Chelsea began the game well. I think players looked a little bit nervous, looked a little bit unsettled. I don't think that's because of the protest. I just think that's because of what's happened in recent weeks. So I don't think the protest impacted the game at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Chelsea needed to find themselves into this game, and they certainly did. They grew into the game a lot more. As the game going on, they started moving the ball a lot better. They're starting to look more energetic. They were moving the ball a lot more positively. One of the biggest positives in this game was Chelsea's energy. People can throw at us and say, oh, well, it's only Southampton. But sometimes that brings complacency, and I didn't see that in Chelsea's performance. And I think the goal came at the right time. Christopher Nkunku gambling at the back post, and I think that just settled Chelsea's nerves. It was an early goal, but wasn't too early. Came at the right time. And Christopher Nkunku done brilliantly. His positional play was exceptional tonight. Arriving at the back post late, anticipating and gambling, and that's how you score your goals. And then Chelsea went 1-0 up, and you could sense that the world had been lifted off these players' shoulders, and then they start playing. Christopher Nkunku, who was a previous scorer, turn provider, with Pedro Neto, a nice little play, and Pedro Neto with a beautiful ball strike to make it 2-0 for Chelsea. But we're going to touch upon Pedro Neto individually very shortly, because I thought he really caused Southampton a lot of problems tonight. And then Levi Colwill made it 3, and I'm happy for Levi Colwill because he's had a tough time these recent weeks, if we're being perfectly honest, conceding goals that he shouldn't, just getting involved in things that he shouldn't. And tonight, he had a lot more maturity about him, and I thought Southampton didn't really offer much, but I think he needed this type of game where everything goes his way. And I'm sure that goal is going to do him a lot of confidence. But in the second half, Chelsea performance did slightly drop, and that was probably because the game was half won and he made changes, bringing on substitutions. But Marc Cucurella has been exceptional this year. But in the past couple of weeks, his performances have dropped slightly. So that goal will give him a vote of confidence to really bring his form back, because Marc Cucurella's energy is infectious. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of tenacity to this Chelsea team. So we need him firing, and that'll just lift everybody else on that football pitch. But it was a much needed win for Chelsea Football Club. And I want to speak about a couple of players, Pedro Neto being one of them. I think in that final third, when he's playing as a striker, the reason why I prefer him over Christopher Nkunku is for his energy alone, his movement, his willingness to run in behind, cause causes the opposition so much problems, and it allows more space for Chelsea's midfielders to get on the ball and be more proactive in possession. So I just think his movement, curving out wide, using the channels, just really brings a lot to Chelsea's play. And this is why I always say Chelsea look better with a mobile striker. We tested it with Christopher Nkunku, who's not that mobile type, who's a little bit more static. And that's why we couldn't create anything. When Chelsea have got mobile striker to create so much more. And this is why Nicholas Jackson, I understand his conversion rate isn't very good, but he brings a lot to this Chelsea team in terms of releasing other players. So I understand it's not Pedro Neto's natural position, but his hunger, his endeavour, his ability to work for the team is really infectious. He was man in the match against Aston Villa. And again, he was quality today, not only off the ball, but in possession as well. Created the first goal. He was brilliant in transitions. And he was bringing other players into the game. Fully deserved his goal and his assist. The next player I want to talk about is Christopher Nkunku. I think he deserves a lot of credit. I think what I liked about his performance today was his positional play. It was excellent, very intelligent in possession as well, and he was providing a lot more quality in possession. He was managing the ball a lot better. His ball appreciation was a lot better. He was making the right decisions, and he was showing that hunger to get in the box, and he wanted to provide and succeed for his team. And I want to see a lot more of this from Christopher Nkunku, gambling to get in the box, being a nuisance in the box. Sometimes the ball can just fall to you and you're in the right place at the right time. I want to see a lot more from that from Christopher Nkunku, and I'm sure this game, if he profiles himself like he did in this game, I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was a lot better than what we're seeing against Brighton or Aston Villa. And I understand it's only Southampton, but again, he could just walk through this game, and I thought he provided a lot to Chelsea today. A couple of other players I want to speak about. Enzo Fernandez, I thought he was everywhere today. A man of the match performance. He was winning duels. He was getting on the ball. He was just generally having a good game, covering a large amount of grass. And that's what you want from your midfielders. A lot of energy, a lot of tenacity, being brave in possession, never hiding away. And I thought that was Enzo Fernandez today. Might not be the most physically imposing player, but I don't think we give him the credit for his work rate, his willingness to be competitive. He might lose a few duels, but at least he's there, he's trying, he's hungry, and his effort is consistent, and we need to give him credit for that. So his endeavour deserves a lot of respect, but that's only half of it. At the elite level, you need to have quality in possession, and Enzo Fernandez certainly brings that. Can you question his goals and assist tally? Absolutely, but you've got to understand that the manager's instructions are different to what the output might be. But Enzo Fernandez contributed massively to everything great about Chelsea against Southampton. The next thing I want to talk about is the defence. I thought in recent weeks the defences look shaky, the defences look weak, made the wrong decisions, were not doing the basics well, and I get it, Southampton didn't really offer much going forwards, but undoubtedly there will be tougher tasks to come as well. But the defence looked a lot more assured. They were moving the ball better. They were just defending a lot better, winning duels, having better positional play. And I think Levi Colwill really stood up today, and I want to give him credit for that. And the last person I want to talk about, because I see a lot of opposition fans saying Cole Palmer's past his best. That is nonsense. Form is temporary, but class is permanent. If you want to look at the statistics, Cole Palmer's constantly been creating, providing, being the man of the moment for Chelsea Football Club. And his chances he's created, nobody's been putting away. And I'm sure if he had a better striker with a better understanding, better instincts, Cole Palmer would have even more assists, which is unbelievable to think. Form is temporary, class is permanent. Cole Palmer will become elite level again. I'm not even saying that's come out of him because he's still elite. What you've got to remember is he's not that experienced yet. So his form, he will have a dip in form. Unless you're Messi, unless you're Ronaldo, every single player on the planet will have a dip in form. I've just realised I spelled Cole Palmer wrong as well. I should really check these. And Cole Palmer might not have had his best game today, but what I enjoyed about it, he was trying, he was getting on the ball, he never went hiding. And I always say this about footballers. I've done a bit of scouting for Premier League clubs, and the one thing they always ask me is, what's their attitude like when things aren't going their way? And if I was scouting Cole Palmer, I would say his attitude's positive because he always wants the ball. He's always trying to make things happen. Not everything might not come off, but as long as he's always there wanting it. If he went hiding, I'd probably say he's not up for this. He's not about this game. But Cole Palmer's different. It's deceiving because he's not aggressive like other players, but he never shies away, and that's a massive positive, Cole Palmer. So that's a brilliant win for Chelsea. Say what you like, say it's only Southampton. I understand they've been probably the worst team the Premier League's ever seen, but Chelsea needed that win massively. And with the other results going their way, this can be a vital win towards Champions League success. The thing is, there is a level of optimism for Chelsea Football Club at the minute, because if they can continue to pick out wins like this, and they've got players to come back, that's only going to elevate the game more. But it's good to see the youngsters getting a game. Shim Mueka making his Premier League debut, Amagu making his Premier League debut, Tyreek George came on, got an assist, and Joshua Chempong coming on and getting some minutes, who I wanted to start, to be honest, but I'm not the manager. But I want to hear your thoughts. There's my thoughts on the game. I want to hear what you think. How do you feel about this performance? Is it just a one-off, or are you like me and think winning builds momentum and winning becomes a habit? Let us know in the comments below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, up the Chels.